Good morning, everybody. I hope you're all doing incredibly well. Welcome back to Crypto Warehouse. My name is Mike. It is what are we? What's the date today? The 17th of October, I believe. The reason I'm a little bit late today is I've just exported a video for the OGs talking about what's happening right now and what to do about it. No need to panic. Okay, I was going to come on here. I was going to bring up crypto bubbles. I'm going to have a head in my hands. I was going to start fake crying. I was going to start doing all the other stuff. But I've watched a couple of crypto streamers this morning who sound like somebody's walked into their bedroom on Christmas Day morning and weed on their Christmas presents. Okay, they sound so sad, so down, so depressed. That is not your job, okay? Your job as the captain of the ship is to steer the ship and not melt like a melt at the first problem that we've had, okay? They all sounded like, I can't say certain words, but I would, come on. My job is not to get overexcited when we go to all-time highs. And my job is not to get overly upset when we go too far down. Okay, so let's not worry about it. Now, the problem that I have got is the Binance stream is not working, and I don't know why. And the way that streaming works is you can't simply turn one off and on again. They're either all on or all off. So, unfortunately, Binance Square's stream is not going to work today, which is a shame because what's on screen now is the next thing that we're going to be doing, which is tomorrow. But before we begin, Kishan, good morning. Good morning, Alpha. Good morning to Crypto Danny. SC says no alt season. It's all over. Do you know what? I had somebody in chat last Saturday when I was trying to make people feel better. And the person in chat came in and went, lol, coping much, or something along those lines. Whatever speak the modern kid has. Now, I am not... I don't care what you think, but listen very carefully. If this was April or May next year, and we've had the bull run, I would have a different outlook on the direction of crypto. We are not in the end of times. We are not going into the next bear market. We are... Just give me 1 second to make sure that this stream is working. Yes, we are. We're not in the end of times, okay? We still have October, November, maybe even December left of the bull run as far as I can see. And maybe we go on. Maybe we go until February, March next year. Maybe it's a different type of cycle. I don't know. And nobody else will tell you that either because they don't know. All I can say is that traditionally the market ends in the next 4 to 6 weeks. So I am not here to be sad and a Debbie Downer. I am here to basically answer your questions and keep you all happy. Now, if you are here, smash the like button and subscribe. I keep forgetting to tell people to do this. Also, comment in chat. Unless you're driving a car, I know some of you listen to us when you're driving to work, which is absolutely brilliant, and we thank you for that. We thank you for your service. But I'm still going to be here whether we go down to $65,000 or whether we go to $150,000. It makes no difference to me. And now the bear is in chat. Shopping spree time. I think so, Danny, as well. What I would say, and we'll go through this in the charts in a minute, is not all cryptos are equal. Not all cryptos are going to go back to all-time highs. I've been saying this for ages. You can't pick a coin that's 6 years old that's at $1 with an all-time high of $50 and think it's going to happen. There are coins from the last cycle, the cycle before that are dead. You want to be focusing on the strongest coins and the coins with the most eyes. So, whether I hold them or not, things like Hype, things like Chainlink, things like XRP, Solana, Ethereum, of course, Bitcoin, they're all going to do incredibly well. Then there are other coins that are like the newcomers, if you like. Sui hasn't been around very long. That's going to do quite well. Ton, never know, might have a resurgence. That's not been around too long. So there's lots of coins. Asta is another one. Lots of coins which are new to this cycle, which will probably outperform previous coins. You know, Litecoin is probably never going to go back to all-time highs this cycle, but it's still going to do well. That's the key. I'm not saying all of these coins are dead. I'm saying you're not going to get absolutely massive returns on some very old coins because they don't have the eyes or they've not done an announcement. Now, the big thing on the screen now is I am doing a Maple live stream on Saturday. We're going to be going through the flash crash of last Friday. And the reason it's important to watch is because I'm going to explain how these things work. Maple, Ondo, all other real-world asset projects, any projects really that you're involved with, they're all amazing projects until it goes south, until everything goes down, cascading liquidations, all that kind of good stuff. I'm going to talk you through what Maple did. Now, Maple have institutional grade loans, so they lend to big institutional players. And of course, when the price of Bitcoin or Ethereum or XRP drops, there are calls, which means that the collateral put up for the loan drops. And I'm going to walk you through who Maple are, the analytics of Maple. I'm going to look at what they did on October the 10th. And then I'm going to give you the share price, not the share price, the token price of Syrup and go through that as well. It's about an hour. But if you want to understand risk management and you want to understand how some of these companies work, that's a kind of stream that you should watch. It's educational. That's the point of this. I'm looking at this from a business point of view. Not necessarily isn't everything in the garden rosy point of view. So that's something to bear in mind, something to take into account. Yeah, I just can't get the Binance stream to appear. So I think the Binance one is RIP. Now then, we're going to move on. Friday Deja Vu. Friday Deja Vu. Now, what's interesting about that title is I did this yesterday at about 7 p.m. before all of this happened. Before all of this mess on your screen, hopefully it's appearing right now. Before all of this happened, I said Friday Deja Vu. And the reason I gave the stream that title is simply because are we going to get a deja vu of what happened last Friday? Not expecting it to have happened before I went live. I didn't think we'd get deja vu last night. Well, this morning. I thought we'd get it tomorrow morning. Bitcoin is at 105,000. Ethereum is 3,700, which is absolutely incredible. BNB is still over 1,000. $2.22 for XRP. What a steal. 176 for Solana. Absolutely what a steal. Cardano at 60 cents. These prices we talk about a lot. 60 and 80 cents for Cardano. They are the safe spaces for those tokens. And I think, I'm not going to say this out loud and be too loud, I think that these are good prices, especially Bitcoin. Ethereum, if Ethereum goes to $5,000 in the next 4 or 5 weeks, that's going to be a 33% return on the second biggest asset in the world. Bitcoin recovers to, let's say, $125,000. That's going to be almost a 20% return on the biggest asset. So the markets look red. And I don't know if I made too many videos for the general public and too many videos for you guys, or talked about it too much in here. But in the OG videos, I was talking about mental preparedness and these dips. And I said at the start of the year, we're probably going to get 3 more 30, 25% corrections in the market. And we've been seeing them. And it was mental preparedness for when this happens. So probably since last Friday, I have looked at the charts less, been calmer than I have been all summer with regards to the market, because this is the market now moving. Okay, go back and look at what we've done. We just, after the Trump tariff fiasco, we kind of had a fairly bland time. The year before, we had a fairly bland time. So when this stuff happens, this is exciting. Okay, this shouldn't be something you fear. This is an exciting moment in the market because this could be a huge flush. Friday was a shock. Today is fear. Okay. Now, although $20 billion was lost in liquidations last Friday, we're going to look at it in a minute, but I think we're already over $1 billion right now. So let's have a look at the gate. Well, gold. Let's forget this. Let's go to this section here now. What is down here that is primed for potentially good price action to the upside? Look at the coins that have been in the news for a very long time. So Aster, everybody's going to talk about Aster. Zcash or ZEC, which is, I think it's a privacy coin. I've got some pretty good news about them that's come out today, or come out yesterday, that we're going to go through. So that's a good one. SPX 6900, the Oracle was calling for that months ago and called it all the way up. Wouldn't go near that. Mantle, yes. Morpho, yes. Plasma, yes. Good coins. Aerodrome, below $1 is a steal. It's at 71 cents. Pump is down. I'm going to back Pump. I'm going to keep dollar cost averaging into that. What else is down here? Pith at 10 cents. This is a flush. 231 for Sui. You've got some great prices there. But I kind of want to show you this, which is this one. Before we go into liquidations, I want to show you this. Now, I haven't used this chart in a very long time, up until last Saturday when I used it for the first time. So, we've had an incredibly red month. Everything is a sea of pain. And only when we go to the year do we see big green bubbles. But even in this year, look at the amount of really good projects that are down for the entire year. Dupe is down 60%. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Ton is down 60%. What other good coins are down in here? Render is down 56%. Filecoin, I'm not a fan of the project in terms of I'm not going to hold it. That's down 60% as well. Bonk 45, ICP 60, near 57%. So a lot of coins, good projects and good teams are down. It's brutal. It's a 35-day round trip. Now, if that round trip, for example, we look at 2021, it started on the 30th of October. It ran to the 24th of November. That was it. So 3.5 weeks, all the way up. And then within 7 or 9, I think it was 9 days, 9 days later, it was down 33%. And then after that, of course, it just slid away. So you have a round trip to your all-time highs. Now, why I'm bringing this up is these coins that were around last cycle, and I'm going to use Crow because it's stuck in my head. Crow went from 19 cents to 96 cents in 3 weeks. All of these coins on here are going to move in the bull run, but not all of them are going to perform as well as each other. So, for example, HBAR and Uni, they are all or both going to go up, but maybe not at the same rate. So when you see this sea of red, remember your portfolio is also a sea of red, okay? But it's not your portfolio that's a sea of red. The market is a sea of red. You haven't chosen bad projects. Maybe you have, but the point of the matter is if you've been choosing projects based on the solidity of the teams and the performance of what they're doing with their collabs and the rollouts and their GitHubs and all that kind of good stuff and their tokenomics, then you're going to have picked good projects. In a stock market crash, everything goes down. The most profitable companies in the world go down. The least profitable companies in the world go down. Where you make your money is buying and holding on to the companies that have the most potential or already make the most money. It's not about saying, I'm going to buy every single one of these coins on the screen. If you're going to do that, go and buy an index tracker. You want to slowly pick cherry pick the projects that you like from this list. And as Danny said in chat, it is shopping season. You can pick up Link is down 30% on the week. Link, the biggest oracle in crypto, is down 30% on the week. It's a good, solid project. Dupe is down 25% of the week. If you look across the board, you'll see roughly most of the coins are down within the same amount of each other. But this is a good set of prices to buy. Maybe not exactly today, but this next period of time. Maybe the next, it's hard to say, maybe the next 3 days, the next 7 days, the next 14 days. But this is a good period to buy. Now, have we finished the end of the bull run? Have we got to the end? Was $126,000 the top? I'm not going to beat around the bush. I don't believe we're anywhere near the top. I think we can push on to 140, maybe 145. We're certainly not going to $500,000 this cycle like people keep telling you, so get that idea out of your head. But if we get to somewhere between 140 and 150, that's a good bull run for me. That's 70,000 top in the previous cycle, 69,000 to 140,000 in this cycle. That's a good return. So don't panic, okay? The only people out there that need to really have a long, hard look in the mirror are these people, okay? And I know we have some people out there who are leverage traders. I know some of them are watching. Now, we're at 1.2 billion in liquidations. Last week was 20 billion in liquidations. So just on those 2 days alone, and maybe it wasn't 20 billion, maybe it was 80 billion, maybe it was 120 billion, whatever the number is, maybe it was even as high as that, but it was a sea change in the market because it was 10 times higher than anything that's ever happened before. Today, 1.2 billion is a good day of liquidations. We always say, don't we, if it's under $1 billion in liquidations, it's not really a good day for liquidations. But this is a big day for liquidations. Exchanges make fees, the market makers make fees, everyone's rich apart from the people taking out leverage. You should not be in leverage at this juncture. This is not a good condition for you to look at leverage. Trump is about to meet Putin. Trump is about to meet Xi. So the world leaders of the three big forces in the world, Russia, not India isn't there, Modi's not there, Russia, China and America are all going to meet each other in the next 2 weeks. End of the month he's meeting Xi, I believe in South Korea, that might move. And then I'm not sure where he's meeting Putin. I don't know if it's in Athens or whether it's in Stockholm, somewhere like that. He has agreed to meet Putin, obviously, to try and crack Putin over the situation in Eastern Europe. But we're not living through calm and peaceful times. The economy has just recovered from COVID. That was 4 years ago. So I wouldn't be using leverage at this moment in time. Now, maybe we get into the first week of November, everything turns green and starts to rocket up. Day, leverage trading, whatever it might be, fine. But if your job is to accumulate wealth, you're best off buying spot. And you're best off buying Bitcoin and Ethereum and every coin we always talk about on here. Okay? So the people that message me from time to time and say, what do you think about Qubit? It looks like a great coin. It's got a $5 million market cap. No, I wouldn't go anywhere near it. There are coins like that, like Asta's came out of nowhere, but on the whole, generally, I'm not going to be touching anything that's outside probably the top 20 or 30 coins. And if you're new to crypto, I would say stick to that. Now again, let's have a little bit of a reality check on Bitcoin. Just so we all know what we're talking about here. Bitcoin is over $2 trillion, although it's not likely to be over $2 trillion if it keeps going, but it's over $2 trillion right now in market cap. In the history of the world, no $2 trillion market cap asset has ever vanished off the face of the earth. Ever. Silver is sixth. Gold is first. Gold is on an absolute tear, 30 trillion. Now, I spoke about this many times when gold broke into the top 10 and was moving up. I was saying people are thinking that gold is going to get flipped by Bitcoin when gold is at 22 trillion or 23 trillion. And I said that's not how it works, because gold isn't a static train. Gold is always going to be going up in value. So when Bitcoin gets to 23 trillion, as I said last time I spoke about this, gold will be higher. Look at this again. If Bitcoin 10x'd from today and got to $1 million a Bitcoin, it would still be $8 trillion short of gold. Another thing to bear in mind when we're talking about these assets, Bitcoin has moved up, let's say $1 trillion, for argument's sake. Actually, no, let's take the crypto market as a whole, because it's a bigger number. The crypto market as a whole reached $4 trillion. This move by gold has been $4 trillion. So this move, this year and the end of last year, that's a $4 trillion move. It might actually be even less. It might be a 6-month move. That entire move was the entire market cap of crypto. That's how big gold is. So when people talk about Bitcoin flipping gold, I'm like, okay, but if Bitcoin ever gets to the point of flipping gold, gold is more than likely going to be at 60, 80, $100 trillion. So Bitcoin is going to have to 50x to catch gold. And that's what? $5 million a gold, a Bitcoin. So bear that in mind when you say, okay, well, Bitcoin's only got to now do 15x to get to gold. Remember, it was only a 10x to get to gold 6 months ago. So gold is a beast. It's the final boss. When you talk about these like memes and things, gold is the final boss. It might not be for another 20 years before we lay a glove on gold, okay? Because all of these assets on your screen, the more money that's printed in the world, the more valuable these assets get. And the harder it's going to be for Bitcoin to catch them. It's a faster train. Bitcoin is a faster train than most of what's above it. But gold is a different beast. Look at gold. It is bigger than what? Everything else in the top 10 combined, probably? So from number 2 down to number 10, gold is worth more than all of it. And yes, China's buying it. Yes, Russia's buying it. Yes, people are trying to, not really depeg, but decouple from the dollar. So, but just bear in mind, Bitcoin is the 8th largest asset in the world. Okay? It's not going to zero. You've not lost everything. Okay? It's not a flash in the pan. Right, we're going to move on, because otherwise we're going to be here all day listening to me rant about gold. Oh, there's lots of messages in chat right now. I should have probably kept on top of these. Can Cardano even 2x from here? Yes. In a bull run, everything goes from underpriced to overpriced. And overpriced is where you have to try and sell. But one thing I will say about that is, if you own Cardano, and let's say Cardano goes to $2 for argument's sake, you're not going to catch $2. You might be if you're lucky, but on the whole you won't. If you dollar cost average out, 150, 160, 170, 180, 192, 190, 180, 170. If you dollar cost average out, you might get out with $1.70. So don't think about the very top price of Cardano. Think about what your dollar cost average price could be. So if Bitcoin, let's say Bitcoin goes to 150,000, if you get out of Bitcoin with an average price of $135,000, $138,000, you've done incredibly well. Billenberg, trouble brewing in the US banking sector. Many banks have been going bankrupt for 4 years. They've been going bankrupt since Biden came in, and the reason they're going bankrupt is the big American banks want to dominate and monopolize the American market. That is why they're going bust, and they're going to continue to go bust until there's about 50 banks left. I don't know if you've seen, there are way too many banks in America. It's ridiculous, the number of banks in America. Compare the American banking system to anywhere else. It takes 2 weeks to send money anywhere. You get charged fees out the door. American banking system needs to go bankrupt because it's rubbish. Okay, that's the problem with that. I need to take a loan out on my gold to buy these bloody altcoins now. Wish I invested in gold only. But you're always going to think that. You're always going to think that. And the issue is that gold has run. It's not running. It has run. Bitcoin, you could say, has run. Got to 126,000. So you could put gold and Bitcoin and the S&P all in the same bucket and say, right, they've had their run. Now it's time for the alts. I don't think that's the case, though, with Bitcoin, because I think Bitcoin is lagging the S&P and it's lagging gold. So I think Bitcoin has more to go. And until Bitcoin goes, the alts aren't going to go anywhere. You are not going to see an alt season until Bitcoin rips. And Bitcoin hasn't ripped. So we are waiting for Bitcoin to finish so we can get the alt season. And even then, when we get the alt season, I guarantee you 80% of people in alts are going to be underwhelmed with what they get. So your Cardano prediction, I could be completely wrong. Maybe it gets to $1. My XRP prediction, it could very well come true, which is, I think, $5 to $7. We've already got to $3.75. I spoke about this last week or the week before. Binance has reached an all-time high this cycle. Bitcoin, I think Ethereum, didn't Ethereum break its all-time high? Solana, obviously things like Hype have, Sui have. So if you look at all-time highs in the top 30, you might find out there's 10 coins that have already put in all-time highs. So we've had somewhat of an alt season, just not the one that everybody else wants. Good morning, Tariq. Buy the fear bear. Gold is the mother of all trading, been trading since caveman times. Absolutely. Interesting fact about gold. Gold can only be destroyed in one way, which is, I think, nuclear fusion or something like that. So the gold that you have in your house, in your watch, in your phone, that's the same gold that's been floating around in the universe for the last 10 billion years. So gold is like a constant, and it's the conspiracy theorists, people out there who talk about all of these mysterious aliens trying to come and get gold off planet Earth, even though there's more gold on asteroids than there ever has been on Earth. Talk about the unique properties of gold. So when people say it's a rock, like I do, I call it a shiny rock, but that's because of Peter Schiff. It's not just a shiny rock. You can't replicate it, whereas you can replicate paper money. Somebody buys a printer and prints money, then you can probably get away with forging it. You can't really forge gold because you just have to weigh it. Gold will be around 100 years' time. It absolutely will be. You're correct on that. Good morning, Solo Sky. Bitcoin's been ripping since 15k. It has, absolutely. Alt season will happen in low caps that will pump from low prices. That is alt season. You're very sure of that, Villain Bear. You're very sure of that, Villain Bear. My argument would be that the money will flow out of the majors into the serious projects. And if you go back and look at some of the projects that pumped last time, they were the serious projects, and some of the new serious projects as well. XRP is done. If it exceeded $4. So SNK the GOAT, he won one of the Binance giveaways, and unfortunately the Binance stream didn't run today, so I've not got a chance to tell him that the Binance payments will be going out probably tomorrow, probably Saturday. I've said before the end of the week, but I'm going to be paying them out on Saturday. So anyway, we need to get on with the show. I haven't even got past these. Gold is eating Bitcoin's lunch. Bitcoin is now down 32% price in gold since its August high. This Bitcoin bear market will be brutal. Hodlers, sell your fool's gold now and buy the real thing, or have fun going broke. Peter Schiff has been calling gold, and I was going to go on a little bit of a tirade about this. Nobody cares about gold, and nobody cared about gold, but Peter Schiff wants to make himself relevant by talking about Bitcoin. I don't care about gold. I like gold. I have physical gold bars in my house. Back in 2004, I was buying gold. Now go and look at the gold price after the stream. There was a point where the price of gold absolutely skyrocketed around maybe it wasn't 2000. Yeah, 2003, 2004. I was buying gold. I think it was $11 a gram, I think. And I was buying gold every month and having that gold sent to me in the physical post, okay? Because I was going to get a big bag of gold, stick it in a safety deposit box, and that was going to be my asset. That was going to be my retirement. And then, of course, the price literally went up 80%, 90% overnight, and I stopped buying it. But I have got bars and bars of gold and bars of silver. I love gold and I love silver because they're a safety. They're a risk-averse asset. They always hold their value. Yes, it goes down, and yes, it may lose some of its inflation-beating properties that it's had for so many years, but you never back against gold. Charles Schwab to offer Bitcoin and crypto trading in 2026. Schwab manages $10 trillion. We might see 50 billion of that come into crypto, so it's not really a drop in the ocean anymore. I need to fly through this. I have gone off on a proper tangent about this, but like I said, I'm not here to worry. This is what crypto is. That feeling in your stomach, remember it when we are at $140,000 and I'm telling you now is a good time to sell, and you're greedy and you become Gollum and you don't want to let go. Okay? Remember these times. If I were to build Venmo all over again, I would use Solana. Very bullish statement from the founder of Venmo. Again, there's a lot of people who've built a lot of products who would, from scratch, go and use Solana. Okay? Maybe if it's a financial business, they'd go and use Ethereum, but if it's a retail facing product, I would certainly use Solana as well. Interesting move by Maple. App yield. So again, I'm not promoting Lulo. I don't know who they are, but they have a phone app, and you will be able to have your funds in Syrup USDC, Syrup USDT over on Lulo, and you'll be able to earn 6.5% over there. Now, again, maybe they've only got 50,000 clients. It's irrelevant. Once it works on Lulo, it will work on Robinhood. It will work on Revolut. It will work on Square or Stripe, or whatever it's called, the other one. And I think this is a really good move because I think the more that we can get Maple in front of the eyes of retail, the better for me. Anyway, move on. A couple more left. Right, this is what I was talking about before. Tomorrow, 11 o'clock on Central European Time, 9 o'clock 9 o'clock UTC. I'm streaming on Binance and YouTube again, and I'm going to go over the flash crash that wiped out 20 billion. I'm going to go over who Maple are, for those of you that don't know. I'm going to go over the October the 10th report. I'm going to go over Liberation Day, when this happened again, both the flash crash and Maple's reaction, and then look at the Syrup reaction on this, and basically go over that. And that should be a good stream. I do them every 2 weeks over there on Binance as well, so I try and keep up to date. I can't do videos anymore on Maple because literally every day they do something different. I can't make 7 videos or 6 videos a week on Maple. So now this is for Solo Sky. Is Solo Sky in chat? Solo Sky is not here, but I'm going to tell you all anyway. I have been a massive advocate of Jupiter and the token. Holding Jupe and staking it on their platform gives you active staking rewards, they're called, but it also gives you the rewards from projects that work with them. Now, Meteora are about to do their TGE on the 21st or the 23rd. 23rd of October. You will get your Meteora airdrop. Now, I'm not going to keep going over this, and if you're not in the live stream, I am going to tell you all to watch this live stream and watch this segment. You are not going to get tokens to claim. You're not going to get tokens in your wallet. You're going to get an NFT from Meteora. And that NFT has a value of whatever your airdrop is on their platform. So don't message me and say, I can't see it on Jupe. I don't know how to download it. Where do I claim the airdrop from? What do I do? You go to Meteora and you log in with your wallet and you will see your airdrop. So you don't get it through Dupe. You don't get it in your wallet. You have to go to Meteora. And you've got 6 months to claim your airdrop NFT once the claim goes live. So you've got until April next year to claim it. And I'm not going to keep telling you, okay? I'm not going to keep telling you. You can keep messaging me about it. I get so many messages about this. And I'm going to tell people in chat today, if you want to know where you go, it's the Meteora. I'm going to drop the link to this into Telegram and I'm going to pin it. So don't forget that. Now then, we are so off time for this show today. We are all over the place today. Right then, Bitcoin risks falling under $100,000 as Trump confirms US-China trade war. This was last night before the crash that we've had right now. Institutional investors shift towards safe havens, causing short-term Bitcoin volatility as US-China trade tensions rise. I have told you 1,000 times, Donald Trump breaks all tradition in public. I am not going to do business with these people. I don't like these people. 3 weeks later, we have signed the best trade deal that the world has ever seen with our good friends, Z and his buddies and China. They're great guys. We've got the best deal for America. They're making a fortune for China. We've done this. This is going to safeguard the American future, the American people, blah, 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 blah. Markets go back up. Okay? The press eat this up. Why? Because everybody reads the articles. Everybody's panicking. He's going to bring an end to the war. Do you remember Liberation Day? This is going to end the financial system in America. This is going to end global trade. This is going to put us back in the dark ages. Your iPhone is going to cost you $25,000. Did any of that happen? Is any of this going to happen this time? So stop listening to idiots that don't know what they're talking about. It is not going to cause a global meltdown. He is going to negotiate on a few very distinct points. If you've been watching me for any amount of time, you will know they have already met in London. They've already met in Paris. They've already met somewhere else that I can't remember. They've met 3 times. And they break up and then go their separate ways. And what does the news report? America storms out of China trade deal. China storms out of America-China trade deal. No, they meet for 2 days. They discuss. They've already announced that something like 65 or 75% of all the products that China and America are going to trade have already been agreed. They've already been agreed. They agreed them back in June and July. This is Trump and Z playing a power play with each other because Trump knows China is finished without the ability to produce things, and Z knows that the American public will turn on Trump if Trump doesn't let them have their shiny new toys for Christmas. So, you now know where everybody stands on this. You now know why the markets are shaky, but it's not going to go on forever. The same way it didn't go on forever in Liberation Day. It's not going to go on forever. It's bad for America. It's bad for China. It's bad. Most importantly, it's bad for Trump's PR because Trump is the second coming. Remember? That's how he portrays himself. He is the man. He's the freedom fighter. He's the peace deal maker. Give him 16 different awards for being such a stand-up guy. That's what he wants. Okay? So, when we talk about the price of Bitcoin, what do we always say? Whenever you think it's going to go down, it goes up. And whenever it goes up, it comes down. When we were at 126,000, I said, I think this is a bit too soon. And we got rejected and we came down. Now, Liberation Day, I said we're not going to go much lower. This could be the bottom. I think we're going to recover. We went up 50% in the next 4 weeks. It's the same thing over and over again. And people just open a chart and pin Liberation Day on the chart and see what happened. Go back and look at what happened during COVID. Look at what happens when the market gets spooked. And it's also spooky season, remember? It gets spooked. That's what happens. Stop listening to people telling you it's all over. You are like a meme. We're so rich, it's all over. We're so rich, it's all over. No, neither of those things are true. We're not rich yet. We are pre-rich. But we also are not pre-poor. That's something else to bear in mind. Now, again, I'm not going to go through too much of these articles because I've literally spent all of today ranting. I don't normally rant like this. Not rant. Chat like this. Ripples. That's the wrong article. I want to talk about this man. Now, if there is a top signal in the market, it's this one. This gentleman here. Is this going to load? There we go. Tom Lee just declared a bubble burst. Will Bitmine and Strategy be okay? Now, I've been saying forever and a day that I do not like all of these treasury companies. And the reason I've been saying I don't like them is I think at some point, some of them are going to be called to sell their assets. And I think that's going to cause contagion. And I think that's going to damage crypto. But maybe not crypto in whole, but maybe the coins that they are buying. I don't think we need to worry about Strategy. I don't think we need to worry about Ethereum. Probably don't need to worry about Solana, XRP. We're going to talk about in a minute with its treasury as well. But Sui, Ton, coins outside the top 10, coins with a market cap of 5, 6, 7 billion, those coins. Setting up a treasury just for those coins is absolute suicide. And again, I can't say that that's definitely going to happen, but it's absolutely crazy. It's putting investors' money at risk because you can go back 4 years, 8 years and find projects that just don't exist anymore. And yet now, those same projects from 4 and 8 years ago, which are the new ones today, they're having treasuries buying 3, 4, 5, 6% of their supply. Be careful. Now, Tom Lee, the reason I'm not a fan of Tom Lee, is he said that there is a good chance that you'll see a $60,000 Ethereum. And maybe there is in 10 years' time, 8 years' time. But we're certainly not seeing one now. We'll be lucky to get to $7,000 to $9,000. So when we see people like him going on the TV, and he's basically copying Saylor's playbook. Saylor goes on TV. I think we're going to go to $2.3 million in a week. And everyone laps it up because he's worth $75 billion. Right? Tom Lee comes out, doesn't look anything like Michael Saylor, doesn't talk anything like Michael Saylor, doesn't come across anything like Michael Saylor, and says, I think we're going to go, I don't actually know his accent, by the way, we're going to go to $60,000. It's a top signal for me, okay? You can expect it from Rich Dad Poor Dad. You poke him with a stick, and he'll just shout a random number between $500,000 and $1 million. So it's going to go $750,000. Right? Buy my book. Tom Lee, who was the darling, has now gone off the deep end with these most ridiculous price targets. Now, he did very well. He bought 200,000 Ethereum during that previous dip. They are going to own a lot of Ethereum, and they are aiming to own 5%. They own 2.5%. So he is probably the Michael Saylor of Ethereum, but his price predictions are a little bit off because people don't clip him saying $60,000 by 2035. People clip him saying $60,000. And for me, telling you, you need to be careful when you listen to people like this because they are selling you false dreams. They're selling you copium. It's never going to happen. Okay? And believe you me, there's nothing more that I would love for Ethereum to go to $60,000. But where is the money coming from to get it to $60,000? Where is the money coming from to get Bitcoin to $1 million? $1 million by the end of the year. We're not even at $200,000. We're at $100,000. So we're going to add what? We're going to add $18 trillion to Bitcoin in what? Actually, no, you don't need to add. No, not physical cash, but market cap. We're going to have to add $18 trillion of market cap to Bitcoin to get it there. You're absolutely off your rocker. Crazy, crazy, crazy. And they are top signals. I said I would tell you if I saw top signals and people going on and giving you outrageous. CZ's the same. What did CZ said? It's going to $1 million this cycle. What? Where do you get those numbers from? I'd love to hear a conversation with him and a podcaster on where he thinks we get $1 million Bitcoin from. because maybe we get it in 6 years' time. Maybe we get it in 8 years' time. How do we get it now? How does that happen? Ripple's $1 billion G Treasury deal targets multi-trillion corporate treasury market. Again, if you want to see what I think are very, very good moves, you need to look at Ripple, okay? They are moving, in my opinion, in a very thought out, a very methodical way into the different markets. Now they've passed, they've had closure with the SEC. They're like roots of a tree. They're just growing into all the directions. They're involved with CBDCs. They're involved with stable coins. They're involved with cross-border payment systems. They're involved with trying to create these treasuries. They're involved with the American government. All of these things are now starting to come to pass. So XRP, which nobody likes in crypto, everyone hates it, it's centralized, it's not a true cryptocurrency, it's got no use value, why do you hold XRP, why does XRP's value increase, all those kind of things, I get. But as a business, they're doing it the right way. And they're kind of tapping into, they're not really first movers, they're early adopters. So they're moving into all of the things that make money. So they've looked at Tether and Circle and gone, that's making an awful lot of money. We're going to have, is it called RL or RBL USD or something like that? Ripple stablecoin. They've gone, right, this treasury thing is big. It's really big. You know, look at the 100 and odd treasuries we've got now. We're going to do the same thing. They're moving in the right way. And whether you like them or not, I think there's money in them, their hills, as far as Ripple is concerned. And yes, we've already come a long way, got to $3.50. I think they've got another leg, $5, $7, definitely with Ripple. But this is a great move. They're acquiring treasury management leader G Treasury, the fusion of Ripple's enterprise crypto solutions with G Treasury's 40 years of expertise immediately opens multi-trillion-dollar corporate treasury market. And again, this is a big thing. This is a big thing. Now, what's bigger than this for me, and I'm going to go back to Maple on this, is once the treasury has, let's say it's got $1 billion in its treasury, that's lovely. That's really nice. Congratulations, you've got $1 billion. What do you do with it? A company uses its treasury to fund expansion, to fund acquisitions, to fund opening in new markets. But they don't want to sell those assets. They don't want to sell Bitcoin. They don't want to sell their Ethereum. They will use somebody like Maple to provide them with the liquidity they need to go and do their job. So that $1 billion that they've got in XRP, say, strategy must go bust. That's not going to happen. Good morning, Manjeet. I'm just pausing what I'm saying because the stream keeps flicking in and out. Yeah, we're back. Okay, perfect, fine. Strategy won't go bust. Strategy will not go bust. Metaplanet and Strategy are not going to go bust at all. If Strategy goes bust, BlackRock will buy it. Absolutely. They'll buy it. They'll take it over. It will never go bust. They'll buy the company. I don't agree with the leverage. I don't agree with some of his creative accountancy, but it won't go bust. However, there's only really 3 strategy companies that will not go bust. Metaplanet, another one which is in the UK, and then I can't remember the name of the one in the UK now. It's not bullish, but anyway, there's another one in the UK. They're not going to go bust, and then this one isn't going. Strategy is not going to go bust. They will not go bust. However, there's going to be a bloodbath of altcoin liquidations, an absolute bloodbath. Because it is stupidity. If I was a shareholder and you said to me, I've said this a few weeks ago, you said to me, we're going to put our treasure into SUI. The day they say that and the day the share price goes up is the day I cash out. I'm gone. It doesn't matter about the price of SUI. It's the fact that they've decided that this chain, which hasn't really proved itself, which has done okay, is where you're going to keep the profits of the business. I want them to say Bitcoin. That's all I care about. We're going to go and buy 100 Bitcoin. And that is our treasury. And whenever we need, we're going to borrow against Bitcoin. We're going to go and use Maple or Cantor Fitzgerald and borrow against our Bitcoin. That's what I want to hear. I don't want to hear some BS about SUI being an ETH killer. Okay? It's not going to happen. You utter cretins. Okay? Buy Bitcoin. Don't buy SUI. Why are you putting my treasury in something that could lose all of its money? That's the problem that we've got. Now, there are tens now, if not hundreds, of people copying this treasury idea. And most of them are in Bitcoin, thankfully. Some are in Ethereum, but there's a lot of altcoin ones, and they're not going to last. Zcash launches a Solana version of ZEC. You can't say that word. ZEC. We're going to call it ZEC for decentralized trading. So Solana gets ZEC over there. And again, this is kind of... They really called it. That's really funny that. They've got a Solana bridge. Genius idea. The asset is available to trade on Raydium and Meteora, though still relatively volatile and trading with unpredictable price levels. We showed you the price today. ZEC may receive additional liquidity by becoming a part of the Solana DeFi space, where remaining anonymous and untraceable. So basically, you've got Monero, you've got ZEC, and then you've got 2 or 3 others. I see no future for these types of coins, and that's just my honest opinion. The governments around the world will not allow Monero and ZEC to ever become too big. They will be outlawed. And I understand absolutely why they should be outlawed. You cannot allow an absolute privacy coin. Similarly, you can't allow the government to freeze your assets. There is a balance, okay? The world is not black and white, as I keep trying to say to people. We don't want the government in control of your money because it's your money. But we also have to understand that a government needs to make sure that there are safeguards in place to stop Monero and ZEC being abused by the wrong players. So you have to understand, we don't live in utopia, ladies and gentlemen. And anyone that tries to sell you utopia, go back and look at the people in the past that have tried to sell you a utopian future, because every one of them has tried to go to war with everybody else. Okay, we don't want utopia. We want peace, and we want fairness for humanity. Utopia requires the removal of large amounts of people. We are not going to have utopia in crypto. And ZEC and Monero are more of a utopian idea than a realistic option, in my opinion. And I don't like privacy coins. I don't like them. And I know I'm all for liberty and freedom. I'm all for Bitcoin and governments not having control over your funds. I know I'm all for that. But there's a line. And the line is we can't allow bad actors to abuse crypto, because people who don't like crypto will simply beat us with this. They will get up a big stick with Monero and a big stick with ZEC and beat us on the head with it and say, look at you, you're all cowboys, you're all scammers. I don't want that. Get rid of him. Get rid of him. Send them to the outer rim. There are fundamental flaws in the Jupiter DAO. I've messaged them about it. I've gone onto their forums about it. I've made videos about them. It's a bag of nails. It's terrible. And the reason it's terrible is communication. You have these projects that want to launch on Jupe and don't give you the tokenomics, don't give you the breakdown of what you're going to get. And that's where it fell down for me. And I said in my video where I called it a bag of nails, I gave my solutions to the bag of nails, which is very simple. If you want your token listed and paid out to the dupe holders, you give a full breakdown of your tokenomics, you give a full breakdown of how much you're going to get in that token on day one. And not monetary wise, but in token wise. So if I'm going to get MET airdrops, I want to log in and say, we're going to give you 100 MET tokens. Or if you don't vote for MET and you vote for Raydium, we're going to give you 50 Ray tokens. Now, it doesn't matter about the price of them because these tokens aren't live. It matters with what you think of those tokens. So if I think MET is the best project the world has ever seen, I'm going to vote for MET. If I think Raydium is the best project I've ever seen, I'll vote for Raydium. Because then when I get those tokens, I'll believe that token is going to have a value because I believe in it. Whereas what happens is, vote for these 3 tokens. Well, I'll vote for MET, but I'm only going to get $1. Whereas if I vote for Raydium, I might get $50. So you're stuck. The voting process was broken, and I've said this before, and I'm sorry to everybody out there that's very, very young. This is a brilliant, brilliant company, and they don't have enough old people in there to give them advice. And that sounds terrible, but I've been saying it for 2 years. They need an old, cynical person to sit there and look at the downside. It's like the Lego song. What is it? Everybody's happy, or whatever it goes. It's like that. Everyone is happy. But it's because you're making so much money, because you've got an amazing product. But having an amazing product and having an amazing DAO are two different things. Your DAO was fundamentally flawed, and now you've basically agreed to scrap it, burn all the tokens that are in the trash can, which is a good move, and then move in a different direction. How long have we got left? I don't know whether I should keep talking. 11:56. I'm not going to put the link. Oh, CoAI. Everyone's talking about CoAI. Everyone loves CoAI. I've never looked at it. Good morning. Eugene is back. Congratulations. Snoke the Goat. It's all about the community. It should be about the community. And the problem is, your Brexit. The UK voted to leave. Did the UK population have all the information they needed to make an educated decision? No, they didn't. They had sound bites. And if you're going to go and buy a house or a car, and you come to me and I say, it's a great house. Okay? Yes, absolutely amazing house. You don't even need to see the house. It's just an amazing house. Buy the house. Or you go and see a car, and I don't even start the engine of the car. Is that car all right? Absolutely. What an amazing car. Buy the car. So you're going to buy a car, or you're going to buy a house without the information. You're going to vote for Brexit without the information. You're going to vote in a dupe DAO vote on which token to list without the information. You don't know what tokens you're getting. And it might be a case of, this is a really, really rubbish token, but you're going to get $150 for voting. This is the best token in the universe. You're going to get 50 cents for voting. You know people will vote for the $150. So let them know it's $150, because it's not your job. If it's a DAO, it's not your job to gatekeep the information. It's your job to tell me the information. If I said to Tariq, listen, Tariq, in this hand, I've got you some money. And in this hand, I've got you some crypto. Which one do you want? And Tariq will be like, well, money is good and crypto is good. But how much money? Lots. Okay, what's in the crypto hand? Lots of crypto. But how much? I don't know, Tariq. It's your choice. So Tariq goes for this hand, and I've got $1 in this hand. And in this hand, I had a sol worth $180. That's the problem with that DAO. It didn't work because nobody knew what the benefit was of voting in it. And they would all vote, and then there would be this big hurrah, and then people would get $2. Waste of time. It's all about the community. I totally agree with that statement. Anyway, 11:59. I'm going to put you on full screen for a second, because I'm going to close this one down. And very quickly remind all of you here that I am going to drop the Met link into chat on Telegram. If you're not in our Telegram group, you should join it. And if you want to know what the Telegram group link is, that's a really good question, because I don't know off the top of my head what my Telegram group is. And we have fun and games in there. We have bears, which we don't like. And then we have everybody else. I'm just trying to think if I can get the link up. I'll drop it into chat. How do I get the chat? There we go. So if I copy that, I go in here and I click, I've just opened 1,000 windows. If I go in here and I drop it in here. So that's our Telegram link. If you're not in Telegram, there we go. And if you have not subscribed, subscribe. That's two things. Finally, tomorrow we are back with Maple at 11 o'clock. So same time, we went live today. We're going to do it tomorrow. I don't normally do Saturday shows, but since I stopped doing the Wednesday and the Thursday shows, I've now got more energy to do a Saturday show. Whereas the reason I stopped doing Saturdays was we were doing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday twice, Thursday and Friday. So I was doing 6 streams in 5 days. And now I'm doing 4 streams in 5 days. So I have a lot more energy and time. That's another important thing. I know it doesn't look like I do a lot on here. Okay? I know that. But if you go over here and you look on the right hand side, you have menus, you have articles, you have X files, which are tweets. You have to set up all these different things. It just takes some time. It's about 4 hours a stream. So you work out 4 hours per stream, and I'm doing that Monday to Saturday and then doing Wednesday night. I don't have time to make videos or anything else. So something had to give, and it was a couple of streams in the week. But enough of that nonsense. I'm not feeling sorry for myself. I'm just telling you how it is. So it's 12:01. You're all stars. You're all amazing. I'm going to see you all tomorrow at 11 o'clock. If you're not there, have a great weekend. If you are there, I will see you there. We are going to try and get a mechanism as well to do more giveaways on Binance. Okay? It's easy to do giveaways on Binance than it is on YouTube, because on Binance, I can see the user IDs, and then I can click on the user ID and just pay them. YouTube, I've got to keep an eye on chat. I've then got to do lots of other things. So I might start doing giveaways on Binance again. Okay? But remember, those giveaways come out of my pocket. They don't come out of Maple's pocket or anybody's pocket. Unless I tell you, like WolfSwap gave us $100 for Wednesday. But everything else, like Mew, comes out of my pocket. The Christmas ones that we've got lined up, my pocket. Halloween, we're going to do a Halloween special, my pocket. So we can try and give away as much as we can, but we are not Discover Crypto. We are not Crypto Banter. We are not Ben Cowan, okay? So there is a certain level that we are not at. So don't come in and expect us to be giving away $500 a stream. We don't have that to give away. But we will give you our time and attention, and that's all that matters. Is Doge good or bad? Oh yeah, so that was the article there, wasn't it? Is Doge bad? Doge is, if I could do this, you know, like that guy, what's he called, Thanos? If I could click my fingers and make coins disappear, okay? Let's bring this up for a second just to show you, right? I'm going to tell you, and this won't take very long, by the way. So, I'm going to tell you what I would get rid of. Okay, I would eliminate Tron. I would eliminate Dogecoin. I would get rid of Bitcoin Cash. That's straight in the bin. I would get rid of Litecoin. I would get rid of Monero. I would blitz this top 30 or 40. I mean, there's some good coins down here, I suppose. I get rid of Zcash. Zcash can go. I quite like Pepe, actually. What else would I get rid of? There's must be more coins. Meme coin in the bin. WorldCoin in the bin. Story in the bin. Pi in the bin. There's loads of coins on this list. I would absolutely. VeChain has been around for 5,000 years and done nothing, in the bin. Sky in the bin. Casper in the bin. Flare in the bin. I would trash. I would do that, and a third of crypto would disappear. And in fact, if there's about 8,000, 7,000 coins right now, I think 6,000 of them would disappear. So yeah, I wouldn't touch Doge. I wouldn't buy Doge. All I would say to you is this. Every coin is going to pump in the bull run, the end days of the bull run, but not every coin is going to pump the same amount. So, saying, for example, I should have just held Ethereum, for example. That's great, but do you remember all the conversations in chat when we were at $800 and people saying that Ethereum is crap? And I was saying to you, it's not crap. Look at who's been. BlackRock's building on Ethereum. BlackRock isn't going to let it die. Look what's being built over there. Look where the money is. Look at the amount of stable coins. Ethereum's rubbish. Ethereum then ran to, what, 4,000 and what dollars? Just because a price is low doesn't make it a bad project. But also, just because a project exists doesn't make it a good project. There's plenty of trash out there, and Doge is one of them. I absolutely detest that coin. It's an imposter. That coin is an imposter. It should be removed from the universe, as should Tron. Tron should be removed from the universe, okay? There's just something so wrong that I can't even put my finger on it. The volume, everything about it is just so wrong. Anyway, put it this way. If Eric and Donald Trump Jr. froze Justin Sun's assets from World Liberty Finance, if those two can do that, and you know who they're associated with, if they believe that, then he must be really, really out there as far as everything else is concerned. Anyway, Tariq, now that I am bankrupt, don't snap that finger. Listen, it's all fine. When we go high and you're all excited, I still have this face. When we go low and you're all sad apart from Villain Bear, I still have this face, okay? Your money is important to me as my crypto portfolio. And I would never tell you to buy something that I wouldn't buy. But that doesn't mean I buy everything that I tell you is good either, because I've only got 10 or 12 coins in my portfolio. That's it. And some of them are like a few $100s because they're only little, like, I think this will do really well. I might put a few quid in it, but that's gonna, anyway. Don't right. Listen. Also, never ever apologize for asking a question. Okay, we are not the Gestapo on here. We are not the far left. You can ask any question you want, and I will give you an honest answer. How is anybody going to learn if they're scared of asking questions? Tariq asks questions all the time. Okay, follow Tariq's lead. He is not afraid to type anything in chat. You should all be like that. Ask anything you want. That's why we're here. If you should buy Doge, I personally think it's garbage. Okay, I think it's held on to this Elon Musk using it as an X coin for 2 years, and it's never happened. Okay, I actually picked Doge 2 years ago to be the coin of 2024 because Elon Musk was talking about it, and he never did it. No, we're not woke. No, I'm absolutely not woke. I'm not awakened to anything. I think, yeah. So the goat's got a sense of humour, which I like. No, we're not woke. I think somebody called me the voice of reason on a week ago, and I genuinely like that, but it's my reason. That's a really big thing to understand. You will watch a lot of people and see a lot of people in crypto, and they're there for egos, or they're there for their own self-benefit. And they will say, you have to do, this is absolute the coin you have to buy. Buy this coin. I've never seen a coin like this. In 8,000 years of being a trader, this is the best coin I've ever seen. They've got bags of it. They want you to buy their bags. So the price goes up and it makes them look great and they can sell. And then what they'll do is 3 weeks down the line, after you've bought their bags, they'll say, oh, I've made an absolute fortune out of Monkey Coin. Monkey Coin's made me 1,000x. And you're like, I've still got my bag of Monkey Coin. Not financial advice. I rather would sit here and say something's crap than not. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But it's my reason to be wrong and my right to be wrong. And yes, I have a social contract where I try and be honest, but I'm going to be wrong and I'm going to be right. I'm going to be right on things and I'm going to be wrong on things. And I'm going to be right about certain dips and I'm going to be wrong about the end of the bull run. I'm going to be wrong about the all-time high. And do I care? No, because it's what I think right now. And I will always defend streamers that go out there and put a video up 2 years ago and say, I don't know, Chainlink is crap because of this reason 2 years ago. And then somebody picks up that video now and says, oh, look, he said it was crap. Yeah, but it was 2 years ago. It's changed a lot since then. Yeah, but he still said it was crap. You know what I mean? These people who put their content out there, rightly or wrongly, some of them I agree with, some of them I don't agree with, rightly or wrongly, they've got a right to say that. What they haven't got a right to do is tell you that you are wrong because it's your opinion. If you said to me, I've got $1,000 of Doge, and I'm going to keep buying Doge, you're going to cost dollar cost average, and I'm like, fine, that's entirely up to you. Entirely up to you. But I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to go and buy Doge, I'm not going to go and buy it. Other people will tell you to sell it because it's garbage. But if you're there and you're in 200 or 300% profit in 6 weeks' time, fair play. There are coins like Polkadot that I never talk about. You could buy that today and it make 500% for you. Good for you. I won't touch it. So it's my reason. It's my voice of reason. It doesn't mean you have to believe me. And you should have that attitude for everybody else you watch. Don't believe me. Don't believe Ben Cowan. Don't believe Banter. Don't believe George. Don't believe Wendy. Don't believe them. But take on board what they're saying if you agree with it. Okay? If they give you a compelling argument as to why XRP is going to go to $9, take that on board. If they just sit there and say, because, not the right way to be. Right. I'm going to go because it's 12:11. Thank you, everybody, for coming. I'll see you all at 11 on Binance and YouTube. Have a great weekend if I don't see you. And I'm going to go watch the market burn to the ground. Take care. Bye-bye.